Saturday, March 28th, I got us some plays in Major League Baseball for all you guys. I just want to start this video off by saying that we're on fire. We've won 10 out of the first 13 bets this year. We're seeing the board very well in Major League Baseball, getting a lot of good reads, and seem to be on the right side of most positions that we've taken. So feeling good about this, and let's keep it rolling into Saturday, March 28th. So this video is going to be a little shorter just because I'm a little bit short on time. So I'm not going to go through every single game. I'm just going to go through the games that I have a bet on. First game is the Athletics at the Toronto Blue Jays. And in this one, it is going to be Jeffrey Springs pitching for the Athletics going up against Dylan Cease making his debut for the Toronto Blue Jays. Two pitchers who are coming off of years where maybe they didn't have their best stuff. Both guys have maybe struggled a little bit in spring training as well, and these are two offenses that I'm very high on. We saw Toronto go to the World Series last year. We saw their offense on full display on that run. I think it's safe to say that most people would agree that Toronto's offense is top tier, and they typically, based on last year's numbers, they had a lot of success against lefties at home. So I do expect the Blue Jays to score runs. You add in the fact that the A's have one of the worst bullpens in Major League Baseball. I think Toronto is good for 5 or 6 runs here. The Athletics' offense is really darn good. I like their offense a lot. Nick Kurtz, Jacob Wilson, Shea Langoliers, Tyler Soderstrom, Brent Rooker, Lawrence Butler, Max Muncy, Jeff McNeil. The entire lineup is good now. So I think the A's can definitely get to Dylan Cease. The Blue Jays bullpen is certainly not their strong suit. So give me the over 8.5 runs in Athletics at Blue Jays at plus 100 for 1 unit. I think it's a solid bet. We lost on that exact bet yesterday. It was a low-scoring game. Gaussman pitched very well. So did Severino. And so in this game, I think the starting pitchers are going to get hit up. And I think we see a lot of runs. Over 8.5 plus 100 for a unit. Moving on. Baltimore Orioles hosting the Minnesota Twins. It's Kyle Bradish for the Orioles going up against Taj Bradley for the Twins. I have the Orioles having a significant starting pitching edge here. I also have them having a significant lineup edge and a significant bullpen edge. I think the Orioles are the significantly better team here at this price, minus 150. So let's keep it simple and keep it quick. Baltimore Orioles money line, minus 150, 1.2 units. This is my biggest play of the day. It's one of my most confident plays of the day. I really like Baltimore at home today. Moving on. The LA Angels at the Houston Astros. And look at this, guys. The Angels are 2-0. They've beaten the Astros in the first 2 games of the season. Shocking. I mean, I bet on the Astros in game 1, lost that bet, stayed away from the game completely yesterday, and for good reason, because the Angels come out and they shocked the world, and now they're 2-0. Can they do it a third time? Can the Angels sweep the Astros on the road to start the season? I'm betting on it. I think they can. You got Yusei Kikuchi for the Angels. I'm sorry, that was yesterday. You got Reed Detmers for the Angels. Hopefully Reed can bounce back. He's coming off of a year where they used him primarily, well, actually fully out of the bullpen to try and get his confidence back up. He had 2 really bad years in a row before last year. And then obviously 2022, he looked like a stud. So hopefully he can get back to that 2022 form. For Houston, it's Christian Javier. And he has been he's been struggling recently. Last year was a bit of a down year for Javier as well. So I have this starting pitching matchup at pretty close. I do. I think Reed Detmers, when he's on, he's just as good, if not better, than Christian Javier. I know Reed Detmers had a really bad year the last 2 years that he was a starting pitcher. Last year, I think they got his confidence back up. He's been working with the new pitching coach, and they got that pitching coach from the Rangers. I'm sorry, his name is slipping my mind, but he's one of the best pitching coaches in Major League Baseball. I think that Detmers is due for a bounce-back year. I think that the Astros lineup is anemic. They've looked horrible in the first couple of games. Meanwhile, the Angels lineup is looking great. Mike Trout is hitting home runs all over the place. And as far as, when you look at the two lineups side by side, I think they're very equal. I think the biggest edge here for the Astros comes in the later innings with their bullpen. I think the Astros do have a better bullpen than the Angels, but it has to be said, the Angels bullpen has locked it down in the first 2 games. They're playing very well so far. Now, it's only 2 games, so we don't want to overreact, but I'm going to take a stab on the Angels money line at plus 133 for 0.8 units. Not one of my biggest plays of the day, but the Angels are playing well right now. The Astros look like they're in crisis mode. And I think this price is off. Plus 133 for the team that just won the first 2 games of the series. And I think the starting pitching matchup is very close. I think the lineups are very close, if not equal. And so you're going to pay minus 150 for the Astros just because they have a better bullpen. Yeah, I don't know. So I like the Angels at plus 133, 0.8 units. All right. Boston Red Sox at the Cincinnati Reds. These 2 teams had the day off yesterday. We were on the Red Sox in game 1 of this series on opening day 2 days ago. We won that. That was a good one for us. This one, it's going to be, who's pitching for the Red Sox? Oh my gosh, it's slipping my mind. Sorry about this, guys. Let's see. Sorry about this, guys. I usually am able to memorize this. Okay, it's Sonny Gray for the Red Sox against Brady Singer for the Reds. So you got the Reds at home as plus 130 dogs, and I like Brady Singer at home. I do. I like Brady Singer at home. He's going back to his days with Kansas City. He's always been better at home. Sonny Gray is a quality guy. He's a quality pitcher. Been in the league for a long time. Good veteran. Maybe you give a slight edge to Boston in terms of starting pitching, but I don't think it's big enough to quantify that minus 150 price. Maybe slight edge to Boston. But, I think Brady Singer is going to battle up there. And when you look at the lineups, I think they're pretty darn equal. I think they're pretty darn close to equal here. Reds at home hit the ball better. Boston on the road, not as reliable. And when it comes to the bullpens, I do think Boston has a better bullpen significantly. I'm not going to avoid that. But at this price, I'm going to take another stab at an underdog here on the money line. I think that you're getting the Reds at a really good price at home, plus 133. And the starting pitching matchup for me is very equal. The lineups are very equal. The bullpen is better for the Red Sox, but is it good enough to say that you like them at minus 150? I don't think so. So I'm going to take a stab on the Reds money line at plus 133. Of course, we only need to hit one of those 2 underdog plays, either the Reds or the Angels, and we'll be in good shape. So, and who knows, maybe we'll hit both. But those are my 2 underdog stabs for this video. All right, moving on. Got the Yankees at the San Francisco Giants. It's going to be Will Warren for the Yankees going up against... I forgot again. Dang it. Let's see. So it's Will Warren for the Yankees. For the Giants, it is Tyler Mahle. That's right, Tyler Mahle coming over from the Rangers. He had a pretty good year last year when he was healthy, but dealing with some shoulder issues is what I heard. So it didn't have a huge sample size. I do think Mahle is a slightly better starting pitching option here, but the lineups are a complete mismatch. We've seen that in the first 2 games of the series. The Giants have now been shut out in the first 2 games. They have not scored a single run in 18 innings of action. That is bad, okay? That's a crisis. The Yankees are scoring runs. They scored 7 in game 1, 3 in game 2. They've won both games by shutout. I think they have the significant edge in the lineup and a significant edge in the bullpen. This starting pitching matchup, I think it's a great situation for Will Warren going up against a lineup that is extremely cold in San Francisco. And then we get Mahle here, who's coming up in his first start for the Giants at home against a really, really tough Yankees lineup that doesn't strike out a whole lot. Give me the Yankees money line at minus 127 for 1.1 units. We've been on the Yankees the first 2 games of this series, and it cashed both times. So let's go right back to the well. I think they're just a much better team, and I think the Yankees are going to get the sweep on the road in San Francisco. Okay, and then we move to Chavez Ravine, the LA Dodgers hosting the Arizona Diamondbacks. And in this series, we've bet both games correctly. In game 1, we had the Dodgers to win by at least 2 runs. That cashed with ease as they won 8-2 on opening day. And then yesterday, we had the over 8.5 runs in that game between the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers. And what do you know? It cashed in the 4th inning. A no-sweat, easy money play. And so I feel really good. I think I'm seeing these Dodgers games very well. And in this spot, it's going to be Tyler Glasnow pitching for the Dodgers, going up against Eduardo Rodriguez for the Diamondbacks. Let's keep it simple. I think the Dodgers have a significant starting pitching edge. I think they have a significant lineup edge. I think they have a significant bullpen edge. Dodgers minus 1.5, 1.05 units at minus 104. I think it's a really, really good play. I think the Dodgers have the advantage everywhere in this game, and at home, they should be able to go out and get the sweep. So give me the Dodgers to win by at least 2 runs at minus 104 for 1.05 units. All right, moving on. Chicago Cubs hosting the Washington Nationals. The Nationals shocked the world in game 1 with a lopsided victory. I think it was 10-4, the final score. They got to Matt Boyd. Matt Boyd was not good in that game, gave up 6 runs. And in this spot, it's going to be Cade Horton for the Cubs going up against Miles Mikolas for the Nationals. In this situation, the Cubs have a significant starting pitching edge. Cade Horton is much better than Miles Mikolas. The lineup for the Cubs is better than Washington's lineup. It just is. Washington actually has some guys. I like James Wood. I like C.J. Abrams. I like some of those young guys they've got in the lineup, but the Cubs lineup is much better. The Cubs are a playoff team. They've got a pretty solid lineup up and down the board. I like Bregman slotting in the spot of Kyle Tucker. So, yeah, I think the Cubs lineup is solid, and I think they have a better lineup. And then you look at the bullpens, and the Cubs bullpen is also better. So I think the Cubs have an advantage everywhere in this game, and I'm going to take the Cubs minus 1.5 runs at minus 104 for 1.05 units. I think the Cubs win this game easily. I think the Cubs win by at least 2 runs. So give me them to win that game by at least 2 runs on minus 104 odds for 1.05 units. And then last but not least, my final play of Saturday, March 28th, we head to San Diego where the Padres host the Detroit Tigers. And so far in this series, it might be crisis mode in San Diego. Alarm bells are sounding. They've lost 2 games in a row. The bullpen blew the game yesterday. They had a late lead. Jeremiah Estrada, who was amazing last year, blew it. Walked a bunch of guys. Then they brought in Wandy Peralta, and he gave up the hit. So, yeah, not good things going on in San Diego right now. Now, in this specific game, it is going to be Jack Flaherty for the Tigers going up against Randy Vasquez for the Padres. Starting pitching matchup, I think, is equal. Flaherty, very inconsistent, unreliable, and I think the Padres offense is due to wake up here. They've been anemic the first 2 games. I think the Padres offense comes out firing, and they get to Jack Flaherty. And then you look at Randy Vasquez against the Tigers. Randy Vasquez has been better at home throughout his career. I think he can be serviceable here. I think he can just match Jack Flaherty. I don't think he's better than Jack Flaherty, but I think he'll match him. And then you look at the lineups. It hasn't played out this way in the first 2 games of this series, but I still, after the first, it's only been 2 games, so we don't want to overreact. I think the Padres offense is still slightly better than the Tigers offense when the Padres are at home. Now, that's a completely different conversation. If this game's in Detroit, you can flip that situation completely. Then I would say Detroit has the better offense and the Padres slightly worse while being on the road. Well, if this game's in San Diego, I'm going to give the Padres a slight edge in the offenses at home. And then you look at the bullpens, it's been 2 games. I know the Padres blew the game last night, but I still think the Padres bullpen is one of the best in Major League Baseball. I still think they have a slight edge in bullpen over Detroit. So at close to a pick'em, I think the Padres, to avoid a sweep here at home in the opening series of this year, is a good value. It's not a big play for me. This is my smallest play of the day. I got the Padres money line at minus 104 for half a unit. I just think that, I would be shocked if the Padres got swept at home to begin this season. So those are my plays for Saturday, March 28th. I'll recap them really quickly here. Over 8.5 at plus 100 for 1 unit in the Athletics at the Toronto Blue Jays. Baltimore Orioles money line at minus 150 for 1.2 units in that game. I think they're going to beat the Twins. Got the Angels money line at plus 133 for 0.8 units. I think that they complete the sweep over Houston today on the road. Got the Reds money line at plus 133 for 0.8 units. I think that the Reds are a good stab at home as underdogs. Think that the pitching matchup is closer to even in that one, and I think the lineups are also closer to even. So give me the Reds at plus money, a nice plus money price there at home. Got the Yankees money line at minus 127 for 1.1 units. I just think they're overall a much better team than the Giants. We've won with the Yankees money line in the first 2 games of that series. So let's go ahead and keep that rolling. Let's just go right back to it, and let's trust the Yankees. Then we got the Dodgers to win by at least 2 runs over the Arizona Diamondbacks. I think the Dodgers have the edge pretty much across the board everywhere in this game. So feel comfortable laying that 1.5 runs with the Dodgers. And so give me the Dodgers to win by at least 2 for 1.05 units at minus 104. Head to Chicago. I think the Cubs are going to beat the Nationals by at least 2 runs. I think they bounce back from that opening day loss. I like the pitching matchup much more for them in this spot, and I also like everything else about their team much more than the Nationals. Better lineup, better bullpen. Give me the Cubs to win by at least 2 runs at minus 104 for 1.05 units. And then last but not least, San Diego Padres, money line, minus 104, half a unit. Think that the Padres have the slight edge in lineup at home, and I think they have a slight edge in bullpen as well. So give me the Padres for half a unit at minus 104. And those are my plays for Saturday, March 28th. Again, we're on a 10-3 run to start out this season on fire. So let's keep it rolling here on Saturday. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know your thoughts and comments let me know your thoughts and predictions in the comment section below. Let me know if you agree or disagree with any of these plays. I'd love to hear it. I want to have discussions in the comments. Please let me know. All right, guys, have a great day.